Welcome to the Unstoppable Recording Machine Podcast, brought to you by the 2017 URM Summit, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to spend 4 days with the next generation of audio professionals and special guests, including Andrew Wade, Kane Churko, Billy Decker, Fluff, Brian Hood, and many more. The inspiration, ideas, and friendship you'll get here are the things that you'll look back on as inflection points in your life. Learn more at urmsummit.com. The URM podcast is also brought to you by Heirloom Microphones. Heirloom microphones are high-end condenser microphones with something that has never been seen in the microphone industry, a triangular membrane. With our patented membranes and our tailored phase linear electronics, your recording and live experience will never be the same. Heirloom, our microphones will help you discover clarity. Go to ehrlund.se for more info. And now your hosts, Joe Wanasek and EYAL Levy.
So welcome to the Unstoppable Recording Machine Podcast. I'm EYAL Levy with Joe Wanasek. Joey is out on vacation on some yacht somewhere with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo
DiCaprio and him are partying. And we've got Trey Xavier from Gear Gods here as a
What's
guest.
up?
Hello, Trey.
Hey guys, what's cracking?
They're on your yacht, right?
Yes, it's a 60 footer. What's a good number? I don't know.
Just the higher the better. Your yacht has to have a yacht. That's all that matters. Like the Russian oligarchs, just be like, I have a yacht with a yacht in it. I don't even know how big it is because it's the size of a football field.
I have a 7,500-foot yacht, and in the pool in the yacht is a smaller yacht.
Actually, have you seen the pictures of the yachts that have the boat inside of them?
No.
So what?
Yes, they're amazing.
Yeah. So what you were just saying is actually a real thing.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that's Abramovich has that.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Now, I believe that 60 foot is the minimum length for a yacht. I could be wrong. It could be 50. But I believe that in order for a boat to qualify as a yacht, it has to be 60 or more. So actually,
basically small time.
Yeah, 60 foot, I think it's a small time yacht. I think you got to be talking 150 foot to
dang,
be balling.
Yeah, Titanic or GTFO.
I'll put it this way: I pretty much max out at a canoe. I mean, it's like I know how to pilot a canoe, and what's that, a 10-foot? It's like a micro yacht. That's how I like to think of it.
Upgraded from a kayak.
Yes.
All right, that's pretty cool.
I think it's more like kayaks and canoes are kind of like the sharks and the jets of the small boat world. so it's your one or the other. And then if you see someone in one of the other ones, you have to have a knife fight, which is really awkward on the water. So
speaking of knife fights, do you and Alex ever knife fight?
We come pretty close sometimes. We're roommates, so it's like, what is it? They say familiarity breeds contempt, which is not true. I mean, we don't hate each other by any stretch. It's like brother fighting, which is also weird because his actual brother lives here too. So I'm kind of like the surrogate.
Maybe you need to get rid of that guy. If anybody
we'll kill poor Adam.
If everyone listening is wondering, Alex that we're referring to is Alex Nasla, our subscriber and also writer, video guy for geargods.net. And
he's our pro audio reviewer as well, pro audio and keyboard reviewer.
Now, we've already established this, though, on prior podcasts, or I should say that Alex is actually omnipotent and is everywhere because he somehow won the contest. He got the mix crit in this, and it was all by a random occurrence. And it was crazy. We were like, what the hell? Why is Alex just everywhere? You can't avoid Alex. He's just there.
Oh, that's true. He was also at My Creative Live in California.
Yep.
He was in NAMM.
Yep. He's
just everywhere.
He's under my bed right now.
Just waiting for that moment.
Yeah, so what month was it that we critted his mix? We critted his mix because it was... well, first of all, I'm just going to say that we didn't know it was him. We didn't know that it was a member of your posse.
Yeah.
We would have been meaner if we knew, though.
Yeah,
yeah, he's my partner in crime too. So in general,
We didn't even know. We just...
Serial collaborator.
Well, he likes harpsichord.
He does.
Yeah, he plays in a fucking power metal band. Are you going to let him get away with that shit? Like 2001 call, dude. Come on.
He plays in the same power metal band that I'm in.
Yeah, but it's cool when you're in it, but when he's in it, it isn't as cool.
Did you guys give the harpsichord back to 2001 or
I don't know, man.
Who won that battle?
Try and talk him out of his keyboard sounds. He does get the best. Okay, so he gets the best keyboard sounds I've ever heard, and then he turns them way too fucking loud in his mixes. And because you just
gotta hire me to mix your shit and it'll sound better.
Yeah, exactly. He's and he mixes all of my stuff for my demos, which is blessedly usually keyboard free. I fucking love keyboards. Like when I write music, I put keyboards in all over the place. But that's like, you can't give that's like giving the kid the keys to the candy store. Like it's just out of control.
Yeah. Keyboard players, there's two instrumentalists who should never mix anything. And one is I don't want to call him an instrumentalist. So there's two types of musicians who should never mix anything. And one is a vocalist. Yeah, it's not an instrumentalist, it's a vocalist. So one is a vocalist and the other is a keyboard player. Because they always will make their shit way too loud.
Yeah.
Way louder than they ever need to be. So just my observations.
Especially if they play in a power metal band, man, because I remember one particular metal fest I played back in 2004 or 5 in Minnesota, and there was a prominent power metal band, and I don't want to say names, even though I should, because the guy was kind of never mind, but the vocalist sat there they were headlining, and he literally sat there for 50 minutes, check. 1, 2, 3, check. Can I get a little bit more 8K in my monitor?
Oh my God.
Check. Just a little bit more 8K. It's not enough. Check. Sibilance. And we're like, dude, can you just fuck off and play? You're pissing us off. And by the time this dickhead was done sound checking and being a Hollywood asshole, there was us, because we were playing there, and my band, and 5 other dudes there, and everybody had cleared out, hundreds of people, because he sat there for 45 minutes and publicly mic checked in front of a whole group of people to make sure he had the perfect vocal monitor mix so all 8 people could hear him watch one song and then leave because he sucked.
That is rough.
And you're not going to tell us who it was.
Well, no, I'm definitely not. But then again, he probably isn't doing anything in this industry anymore, so it doesn't matter. I just want to be nice, even though I don't like him as a person.
Okay, fair enough. So you're a guitar player, Trey, right?
That is a fact.
Okay. Now, hold on. I need to know something.
What's up?
Trey, when you play guitar in that power metal band, do you put your foot on a rock when you solo and look downward at the camera?
I try to avoid cliches as often as possible. But luckily, so far I've not had a camera on me in that situation, so I'll let you know.
Okay, because that's the only way.
What about standing on top of a piano on a mountain?
If I could get a piano on top of a mountain, that I would for sure do.
You need to be in a black metal band to get a mountain first.
And I would look right down into the camera and point while snarling, and soloing with one hand.
I think that's a great idea. So I want to talk about your John Petrucci video.
I would love to talk about that.
Have I seen this?
There's so much to say.
If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's like a take on an old classic, but it's like a really, really good take on an old classic. Do you remember the John Petrucci videos from 10 years ago where he's it's not John Petrucci shreds, but it's something
they're called psycho exercises.
Yeah, and he'll kill you.
It's like somebody just did a voiceover of him saying ridiculous shit like, this knob here controls the rotation of the sun, and
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
if I turn, so I did a parody of that.
Yeah, but it was actually really, really good and went viral. And I was wondering, was that you playing guitar in it?
Oh yeah. So
That's what I thought.
The reason that if you were a little bit confused, it's possible that's because I got the actual backing track to play over. So there's this app called Jam It that's actually pretty incredible, and you can download. It's $5 a song, and you download basically almost like the Guitar Hero tracks. You know how they like have the separate parts, like stems, and it's the actual track. So you can turn down the lead guitar and record a cover with the actual tracks that from the master, recording. So that's why it sounded almost exactly the same, except for the lead guitar.
It sounded great, though.
Oh, thank you.
I couldn't. At first, I wasn't sure if it was you or not. Like, I thought it might have been him because it sounded really, really good.
Damn, son. Damn. That's high praise.
No, it's true, though.
Now I need to see this video.
Yeah.
Wait.
You do need to see the video.
Why don't we take a 2-minute break while Joel watches some of the video? Because I got to take a piss.
All right.
Well, that was entertaining.
Yeah. I think that humor is very, very important in not being a joyless dick. Like,
agreed.
I feel like that's part of what separates Gear Gods from, like Premier Guitar, or I don't know, some website that does what we do kind of better in the technical department or something. But I think people come to us for that kind of like goofy shit, like there's probably a much more thorough review of that pedal on somebody else's channel, but like it's probably not nearly as much fun to watch.
Yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't have the patience to sit there and watch a thorough review of a piece of gear. Besides, there's nothing more thorough than trying out the gear yourself. So I feel like what you did is probably more effective anyways, because I actually watched the whole video.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I appreciate a little bit of humor because, I don't know, everything is so serious all the time. And being in music, it's... well, maybe it's just years of being a producer has jaded me. And it's like, you come up with a song and then you've got 4,000 hate comments and 20,000 like comments. And you got to deal with all that shit, because everybody's a fucking armchair producer and they all think they can produce the song. They all think they can mix the song and they all think they know what the band's direction should be. And, they might as well just all join the band because everybody's a pro. So, being used to dealing with that kind of shit where everything is taken so seriously, I've always really enjoyed producing bands that are a kind of a joke. It's like not serious at all, and we do it intentionally to get hate and just stupidity. So I appreciate that kind of stuff because I feel like it's fun. You gotta can't take yourself too seriously, and I don't think anybody should. So
Definitely
I think that's awesome.
Well, John Petrucci agreed, right?
Yeah, that was a massive bucket list item for me, just for him to acknowledge even that I exist. I mean, so I was playing one of his guitars in that video. I mean, not, his signature model. And I mean, I've been a Dream Theater fan for, I don't know, 15 plus years. Literally changed the course of my life. Like, so I hope to meet him someday so that I can fangirl out really hard and just embarrass the shit out of him and be like, "You changed my life." It literally did. I mean, without
what album?
It was Scenes from a Memory is like that's their perfect masterwork as far as I'm concerned.
I have that T-shirt.
Oh yeah.
So you guys are Dream Theater fans?
Yeah.
Where I was until Octavarium, then I got bored with the band.
So can you guys tell me something?
Why do you like it?
Well, maybe you can just answer me this. Is there singer in the Mob? Because that's probably the only reason that I can understand that he's still in that band and wasn't kicked out. Like, are they like afraid that
the Canadian Mob?
Well, are they afraid that they'll like get put in like a cement brick and dumped in the river or something if they kick him out?
Let me explain it to you in a way you'll understand. So basically, no one's actually listens to him sing when they listen to Dream Theater. They're just like waiting for the next sick drum fill or beat or the next guitar lick or the next, shredding bass or keyboard part, that when he's singing, they're actually not paying attention. So no one actually listens to him sing and no one acknowledges that he's actually even in the band. We really kind of just sit down and we watch the band. I mean, if you've ever been to a Dream Theater show live, it's literally like going to Zombieland. Like they all sit there with their hands down and, arms arms crossed with angry looks on their face, waiting for John Petrucci to miss a note so they can go blog about it and say how better they are than him, which is horseshit because they're not. But I remember one particular Dream Theater show, and it might have even been the scenes from a memory tour. There was like one heavy part in a song. You know, me and my buddies just kind of started mosh pitting a little bit. And I kind of bumped into my buddy, and all of a sudden the guy behind me grabs me and he scolds me. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? This part's metal as fuck. We want to throw down, and you're telling me I have to sit here and watch the band play peacefully and quietly.
Well, you were at a Dream Theater show.
I know. I'm just saying, you know, them power metal guys, you know, they need to lighten up a little bit and get laid.
Out. Yeah. Yes. I think Labrie is very hit or miss for me. I think oftentimes more miss than hit. But I mean, what are you gonna do? It's one of my favorite bands with one of my least favorite singers, and I really hope he never listens to this and hears me say that, because that would suck.
He'll send you an angry email.
Oh, no, he'd send a hit squad. That's the reason. I'm convinced that's the reason.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to go up there every night, and even if he's not that great, then he's sucking in front of 10,000 people that I'm not. So what are you gonna do?
Write about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I think Jared Leto should join.
Yeah, I would pay to see that for sure.
I mean, I didn't think 30 Seconds to Mars was that bad, and I think he should join.
I think they're cool as shit. I mean, they have such a distinct sound, and it's so massive, like gargantuan sound.
Are you actually being serious?
Yeah. I thought they sounded great, and I mean, I don't know about him, but and their music videos are movies. Yeah,
I actually thought they were a good band. So, what's going on in Gear God's Palace?
So many things. So we do everything. I mean, so Gear Gods is meant to be a hub for metal musicians, right? So the idea is that if you're a metalhead and you play an instrument or you sing, then when you show up on the website, there should be so many things that you can do and look at and learn about, you know, more than anything else. I think people come to us for a lot of suggestions on what gear to get, you know, so they don't spend a lot of money on the wrong thing, learn how to actually use that gear, and then learn stuff about music in general and their favorite artists. So we have playthroughs, interviews, reviews, and other things that rhyme, like how-tos. Shootouts, that's a big one that people seem to like a whole lot.
Like gear versus gear?
Yeah, so one of my favorite shootouts, actually far and away my favorite shootout that we've done, has been the massive overdrive pedal shootout where we shot out.
I remember that.
25 different overdrive pedals. And the format of it, I think, is the most important part, and we utilized YouTube's what's it called when you clickable annotations. So the clickable annotations on screen, so that you can click from any one part of the video to any other. So we have a little menu of the pedals on one side, and so you can click on one pedal and hear it, and then immediately click to another pedal and hear it in the same context, so that you can A/B them basically from your computer at home. So that's
clever.
Like there's a billion overdrives on the market. So trying to pick one can be pretty intimidating if you
could just buy them all.
Exactly. And just a quick drop in a quick $3,000 and just, get them all and then recreate our whole thing. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you still would need to shoot them out.
Now, hold on a second. When you're charging the band to shoot out 400 overdrive pedals and it takes 6 days to do, but they get the tone that they love, you are 6 days richer. You know the tone on the record is going to be great because you spent 6 days getting it and the band feels cool. So for all of our recording friends, there actually is a psychology and a benefit to having a bunch of unnecessary gear that you only need one out of the 800 things, because it's cool to play with it, because when a band walks walks in, there's a certain like holy shit factor when you have 20 tube amps and they're all worth $3,000 or more. They're going to look at that and they're going to be like, damn, dude, I left my Line 6 in the car. You're going to be like, exactly. Let's go play with some amps.
Go get it, dude. We're going to blow all these fucking splawns off the shelf.
Yeah, then the kid says he has Axe effects, and I just tell him to get straight the fuck out of my studio.
So what happened with the contest? Who won?
Oh, well, I didn't declare a winner. The whole idea was just so that people can hear it and choose their own. But as far as I'm concerned, the winner was the VFE Ice Scream. That's my personal favorite. I think it's far and away the most flexible and best sounding. And they did not pay me to say that. I actually bought one of those pedals too. I bought a second one. They sent me one for the shootout, and I was like, this is so good that I need another one in a different color in case you go out of business.
Yeah, because it sounds different.
Yeah. It was, so many of them were so great and so many of them sounded exactly the same that it would be kind of hard to actually actively screw up, I think. But for me, the overdrive is sort of a tonal manipulation center or whatever before you get to the amp, So I need a fair amount of control, like more controls than just a tone knob,
Yeah.
So the Ice Scream has like a high and low cut knob as well as a mid knob that probably boosts your mids, I guess.
Does it remove 4K?
No, but that's a feature that I should suggest for the whatever revision they're going to do next. The Joel Wanasek 4K killer.
All right, now we're talking desucculator guitar pedal.
Desucculator guitar pedal. Hey, why not? I'm sure somebody could do it.
It's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. So yeah, my other favorite was the Palisades from Earthquaker for basically the same reason in that it has 6 different clipping modes. While I don't generally use the internal clipping on an overdrive pedal, it just to have them, you know what I mean? That's like having 6 different kinds of overdrive pedals in one.
And are these modules that you can swap in and out, or is it all built in?
No, it's all built in. It's a knob.
Nice. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because I've seen pedals where they have 6 different clipping or distortion modes where they give you modules that you can physically replace.
That's pretty cool.
But I guess it's more future to just have it all internal.
Yeah.
All internal, get it?
Also.
All right, go. Sorry, go on.
Dirty bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's where I'm literally as of today actively seeking out pedals for doing more of those. So I've done a bunch of the same kind of idea for mini pedals. So I love these like little tiny, like Moore and Joyo and TC Electronics makes little mini pedals. And I wanted to make a mini pedal fly rig pedal board, something that I could just like fit in my bag, my carry-on. And like if I were to go play a show in somewhere where they're like, you've got an amp that's backlined, and then you only get to bring your guitar and pedal board, so you don't have a shitty tone, So I've been doing like an ongoing shootout of different types of pedals to put on this board, and the only requirement is that they're mini sized. So the only thing I have left to shoot out is a gate pedal, so I've got a couple of those, and then I'll have a full wee baby pedal board to take with me to play shows that I never play because I don't play live very often. But the concept is sound.
Joel, do you ever use physical pedals when you're working?
I didn't for a long time. I had a Boss DS1 originally because when I was 16, Joe Satriani had one. So obviously I had to get one so I could get the same guitar sound, right? And I think from that, my first pedal when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, I got a Metal Zone because, dude, it was like 92 or 93 and like Cannibal Corpse had it. And, I wanted to be like Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel. So I got the Metal Zone, except my tone sucked. And so aside from that, I had those for many years. Then when I got my studio and I started engineering, I obviously had to get a Tube Screamer because I read that Andy Sneap used it and I wanted to be Andy Sneap. And, then I got an assistant many years later and he's a total pedal nerd. to the point where it's ridiculous. So he knows like every guitar rig. He's like, on this record, Korn used this and ran this into this, and then on this chorus in this Rob Zombie song, they did this and then doubled the guitar and did 36 takes of this into this rig into this, and then use this guitar with this pickup. I'm like, that's awesome. Just plug it in and get me a good tone, and I'll come back and hit record. So he made me buy some Strymon pedals. So I got like the Timeline and a few other really cool ones to do like cool effects and stuff like that.
Those are really good. I've got one of those.
They're really amazing. So I really like using them because, the digital stuff is cool, but again, I'm a geared dork. So I think there's just a certain sound and a certain tone that the analog stuff has that's just very unique to it. And while the digital stuff is cool and gets the job done, sometimes I like its sexier sibling, and I like to ride the Ferrari. So I'm glad I have that stuff, because when I need it, I'm very happy, and it's really flexible, and it's when you get to play through a bunch of cool pedals and things like that, it's really awesome. So I was a shredder. I was too good for pedals when I played guitar. I didn't care. So coming back now, I have all these cool pedals, and I still don't use them except when I'm making records. And I would say that I'm glad I have them around. I'm glad I invested in a few really good ones.
It's so much more fun, isn't it?
Yeah, you just turn knobs. Okay, like I like doing drone records. I've only done like a couple of drone songs. I shouldn't say records, but like when I do a lot of like, like weird bands that have like 90s influences, like Hum and what the hell is that other band? Failure and all these, and like Sono and all this shit.
Yeah.
And, we'll do like noise solos and drone songs and things like that, where somebody will come in with like a 30 pedal board, and we'll just like hit the guitar, throw it on the loop pedal, and we'll sit and we'll just all turn knobs and come up with a bunch of bullshit and make a song out of it. And that stuff's fun. Like I really, really, really enjoyed making some of those records and like coming up with crazy ass shit. So they're fun. Get some pedals. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Before I did this shootout, honestly, like I did not own an overdrive pedal. Like I used it. I also had a Metal Zone back in the day.
Hell yeah.
Because I went to, my local music store, and they were like, this one has the most gain. And I was like, sold, but it wasn't until I spent all that time, like literally going through 25 of them and trying them all out, that I like really saw the value in having a really good one. And of course, I'm one of those guys that you would tell to get right the fuck out, because I use an Axe FX for a lot of stuff. And,
yeah, definitely.
I just use I used the overdrive, one of the ones that was just in there, and finding like that it had more variable controls than like a typical tube screamer was pretty cool. And that was kind of when I was like, maybe I should investigate that a little bit further. And then I went down the fucking rabbit hole, and I could do, with the number of overdrives that are out there, I could do 10 more shootouts just like this. And so now I'm like, God damn it, now I have boxes of pedals that I'm like, I could get rid of this one, but like, what if I need it for this particular scenario?
All right, I got a deal for you. You can send them to me. I'll relieve your burden for free, of course. Right. And then you can continue with the peace of mind knowing that you don't have to worry about the decision anymore, and then I'll just sit and stare at them and do the same thing.
That would be a weight off of my shoulders. Thank you for offering that.
You know what? I used to have a bunch of pedals like that, and I sold every one that I hadn't used in the past 2 years. I sold. And guess what? Ever since then, I haven't missed any of them.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, it's smart. I'll probably just keep a couple of them. It's like one of those things where I got to have a hot minute to list them and everything. But yeah. Yeah. So I'm hoping to do a lot more of those kinds of things, because that's really the core, I think, of what Gear Gods is about. The what I like to call the meaty content of the website, the stuff that you can go and like actually learn something, and not just clickbait bullshit, which we have to do a little bit of, and can actually be really fun. But
you need traffic,
right?
So it is what it is.
So then when they get there and they watch whatever video of Zach Wilde punching me in the face, or something silly that we do like that, because I've got 2 of those now.
Of him punching you in the face?
Yeah, and one of me punching him in the face.
How hard does he hit?
Oh, I mean, it was fake.
Bummer.
It looks real.
On.
That's like his thing, though, It's all this punching. I mean, those were like 2 of our biggest viral hits. So he's fucking hilarious. I want to just hang out with that guy all the time. He cracks me up so hard. Anyway, but you know what I mean? Like people who maybe aren't aware of the site might see that, like it gets shared by Metal Sucks or something, and they go, oh, I want to see this, and they go to the site, and then they go, oh, hey, look, here's something interesting that I could learn today. For example, you asked what's the haps on Gear Gods recently. I started doing a theory series.
I actually was about to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's called Trey's Theory Corner, because I shoot it sort of ghetto fabulous style in the corner of my bedroom instead of, in the studio where we shoot all of our sort of more formal and serious or bigger scale content, just so that I can get them out really quickly, And it's one of my favorite things to do because I really love music theory and I love teaching it.
Did you go to music school?
I did. I went to Berklee College of Music for 1 year. Right out of high school because, mainly because I'm from the Boston area originally. And so it was, I lived at home and I commuted I'm from Arlington, which is like a suburb. And then I got sick of living at home and shoveling snow half of the year. So I moved to California and I finished my degree at Sonoma State University. So basically oddly enough, was a jazz studies major for more than half of my college career, which is weird because I don't really listen to that much jazz, but I recognized how much better they were as musicians than me. So I was like, I'm gonna soak up as much of that as I possibly can. So like I took jazz guitar lessons, I studied jazz harmony and theory and stuff like that, and it made a massive difference in the way that I view music. And I think that jazz guys have a lot to learn from metalheads, but I think metalheads have a lot more to learn from jazz guys, specifically theory stuff, and also maybe some, feel. But yeah, so I took all the harmony classes that they offered, and I think that it's one of the most important decisions I ever made in my whole life. So I'm trying to pass that on to our audience. And it's a little bit of a labor of love because, for instance, the Petrucci video is probably something like 50,000 views at this point. My theory videos are very beloved and they have a very high average view time, but not a whole lot of hits just yet. So,
well, I mean, you can't expect a huge amount of hits on a guitar theory video.
Definitely not.
Not as compared to comedy.
Certainly not. Which is why it's a labor of love, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind at all. I get more. First of all, I get way more positive comments. If you can imagine this, the first theory video. I mean, I haven't checked on it recently, but the first one that I put out has 0 thumbs down, which on YouTube is a fucking miracle because anybody can give it a thumbs down for any reason. Like they don't like my face,
Would you like it? Would you like me to give you one?
No, please, God, no.
Yeah, I'll add a second one.
Exactly. There you go. There's 2 reasons, like 2 trolling reasons to give a thumbs down. There's no guidelines, There's no like, give this a thumbs down if it contains child pornography, like whatever,
Every time we do a video at URM, there's always like within the first 10 minutes of us posting it, there's always somebody like Nail the Mix, whatever. There's always somebody that goes and there's 2 people that it's like 2 or 3 thumbs down and it's on every video. There'll be like 5 people have thumbs up. There's already 2 thumbs down and then it goes way up on the positive side. So there's somebody that just sits and waits around for us to post something and then actually like dislikes it. Like it's part of their routine. And they're probably subscribed
to you too.
They probably are.
They have to be.
I just think it's hilarious. Like I laugh every time I see that. I'm like, wait, okay, how long? We're going to take bets on how long the hate comes. 2 thumbs down and 2 minutes. All right, got it. Done.
Yeah. It's cancer. The internet is just full of cancerous fucking idiots. I don't mean to say that I mean that they are the cancer, not that they had, not cancer victims. That would be terrible.
Well, did you know that being a cancerous idiot actually causes cancer?
Yes.
In some states?
That would, if only, man. It's usually like really super nice and cool people that get cancer. What the fuck? Anyway, so that's something every 2 weeks, every other Tuesday, I put out a theory video. Currently, we are smack dab in the middle of the intervals. I say smack dab, actually, in a month we'll be smack dab in the middle when we come to tritones, which are exactly in the middle of the octave. But currently, we are, let's see, just on Tuesdays.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. I like to be very transparent.
Can you get that tritone substitution lesson in there too, please?
Yeah, that's a little bit down the road. So the reason that I started doing it, there's a billion theory videos on YouTube. Why should you watch mine? There's the way that theory is presented is like as this super nebulous, very
boring,
just very boring, and just coming at it from the wrong way sort of style. And I think that it should be fun because I think that it is fun, and I think that it's not as hard as people make it seem. You know, I get these kids coming asking me these questions like they're fucking terrified of it. They're so scared, and they think that they have to go to college to learn this stuff, or that, you know, it's outside of their capability to learn. And it's absolutely not. Anybody can use it. So, and I've broken it down into the smallest possible, easy, munchable little bites, you know?
You know, that's the same exact mentality that I took when I did my first Creative Live. Was we're doing a topic, my first one ever was about programming MIDI drums. A topic that's not that interesting, that a lot of people are afraid of for some reason, and that, you know, how do you make that not the most boring thing ever?
Yeah.
But I took that approach too of trying not to make it be like all the other videos I had seen online, and to try to make it to where a sixth grader could understand it, yet have the information be legitimate, and to make it something where if they actually watch it over the course of a weekend, by the end of that weekend, they would know how to actually at least get by.
Yeah.
And that actually proved to be super successful, and that's been my MO towards teaching stuff online is don't worry about dudes who try to teach hyper technical things for electrical engineers, because that's not, you know, those kinds of people, they can go get their PhD in engineering if they want to, in audio engineering, if that even exists. But for the rest of the people who read those crazy complex articles or watch videos like that, who get intimidated by this stuff, I want to present this way in a way that will help them, because I don't think this stuff's that hard.
Yeah, exactly. And I think something like that, especially like programming drums or whatever, that could potentially fall under the category of things that are intuitive, you know? Like I program drums intuitively. Well, I have a little pad and I kind of tap it out and then I, you know, move stuff around. But I'm never thinking like, this is an 8th note pattern and this is a flam, you know? And I think that stuff like music theory can also be intuitive if you teach it in an intuitive way, or a way that appeals to people's intuitive side. Like so far, I have not written down a single note head, you know, like on paper or anything, and we'll probably eventually do that. But for right now, like I think people, when they think of music theory, they imagine like sheets and sheets of, you know, what's it called? Notation, you know, and like having to learn what sharps and flats and, you know, all this like written out stuff. And they have this image in their head that that's what it looks like. When it's as simple as like, okay, a major third is, you know, you take one note and then you go up 4 frets on your guitar, or go to the next string and go down 1 fret, you know? And like, that's the shape of a major third. And why that's important will come across later, but you can just know that and then have it forever. You can be playing a song that you already know and you see that shape and you go, oh, that has a name. It's called a major third. Bam. And it's not that fucking hard, basically.
Well, I think that it's important also for theory to be presented in an easier way, kind of like you're talking about, because as a guitar player who went to school for guitar, I can tell you that a lot of people ruin their playing with theory because they make it into too big of a deal.
Yeah.
By making it into too big of a deal, it becomes the only thing they think about when they play, and then they do end up sounding like they're just regurgitating scale and theory exercises, when it really should just be something that they reference or something that becomes part of their instinct.
You just discredited the entire genre of shred guitar.
Hey, man, Yngwie, who basically helped start that, doesn't know what the fuck Phrygian scale mode would be. If it landed on his Ferrari and made him wreck into a goddamn tree, he wouldn't know what it was.
Guitar World, like 1997, they had the poll. I have the issue in my old man's basement somewhere. They had a poll of the 100 greatest guitar players of all time, and they each had a quote. And Yngwie was like in the top 10 or whatever. And his quote was, "I know all the theory there is to know, period."
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't know shit.
You don't fuck with Yngwie. He just plays heavy E Phrygian and sweeps diminished right up the fretboard, and you piss right off.
I'm not knocking his playing one bit. I think he's incredible, but I know that he doesn't know a goddamn thing about theory. He knows his harmonic minor shapes. And
he knows how to kick in the air when he plays guitar and make ridiculous faces.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah, it really is. I love Yngwie. I'm a total Yngwie fan.
Yeah, man. Here's what I think of your fucking theory, man. Bam, and then he kicks you.
I guess my point is that he only knows the very, very basics that he uses. And I don't even know how much of that he actually knows. But it really shouldn't be that tough or that crazy. But I don't think that Yngwie sounds like one of those guys that I'm talking about.
I'll put it this way. I don't think Yngwie knows any more theory than he did when he was 19.
I don't think so either. Okay, you remember Black Dahlia Murders guitar player before
Oh my
Ryan?
God.
The guy before Ryan.
I was hoping that somebody else was going to bring that up because that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Okay, that's the Berklee Level 2 Scales Study Guitar Solo Extravaganza.
Yeah. Or the guitar grimoire exercises.
Yeah,
in a song.
That's what I'm talking about. That guy, all he ever did was take the scale exercises, go up, then down, then up and thirds,
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
He
That's
kind of
my shit.
almost ruined those albums. I just saw them on tour, and they're one of my favorite death metal bands of all time. Okay, and
they're phenomenal.
They have Brandon Ellis filling in. So Brandon Ellis is like 100% the new Jason Becker. Like he's fucking unbelievable. And
I need to check him out. I'm behind on my guitar player knobbery, but when somebody makes a claim like is the next Jason Becker, that catches my attention.
No, it's real. It's true.
Here's the thing with new guitar players, if you guys will allow me. Like maybe I'm old school and I'm like cane wielding old man, when it comes to this, but man, when I was a kid and I was learning to play guitar, we had guys like Jason Becker and just all these really badass guitar players. And then like the whole internet stopped caring about guitar in like 2000 and it's just become shit. So kids now, like what they think about good guitar, like kids will bring shit into me and like the dude's doing some rudimentary tapping. I could teach a guitar student by year 2 and he's like, "Oh dude, look how sick this is." And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, let me show you a real guitar player. Here's Sean Lane. Here's Jason Becker. Here's Paul Gilbert, at 18 years old and Intense Rock 1. Where the fuck is this kid? Oh my God. It makes me so aggravated. So when you claim that, I'm interested.
Yeah. So now that Grandpa's rant is over, when I was a boy. No, you're absolutely right. I think
I'm reliving the glory days. Come on.
Well, nobody told Brandon Ellis though.
Yeah. Imagine all of the glory days came to life in a human being, and that's Brandon Ellis. He's like super, just got all of it down and the best vibrato. I mean, he's probably sick of people like praising his vibrato, but it is ridiculous. Anyway, so I saw him on tour with Black Dahlia.
Zakk Wylde ridiculous or just ridiculous?
Maybe more ridiculous, but like not like ridiculously good. And so he's playing on the fucking unhallowed, like, whatever, 20-year anniversary, 15-year anniversary of their first album coming out. So he has to play all of that other guy's solos verbatim. And I was just like, oh, God, that sucks so bad. Like, he's 150 times better than that other guy. And he has to play the, like, scale patterns from the book,
Yep.
It's still great, but...
What a waste.
Oh my God. Anyway, still a great band, fucking great songs, awesome show.
Is this guy like Rusty Cooley good?
Oh, Rusty Cooley is great, but this guy is way better.
Dude, and when Rusty came out, I've never seen somebody do like 4-note per string skipping octave shit. Like that was retarded when he came out with that.
Right. I guess I would say that, it's Brandon is way more musical, I guess. Like Rusty Cooley is like one of the ultimate like technique shred dudes. Yeah, I don't know. Brandon Ellis, it just feels nice.
Yeah, but don't let that. That's not to say that Brandon's any sort of slouch. He's technically goddamn believable.
Yeah,
but,
I can't wait to hear it. That was my life. I used to run a very big guitar blog for many, many years back in the day called InsaneGuitar.com, and I literally did nothing but shred guitar all day, every single day. And it was kind of sad. Like, I don't know. I didn't enjoy other music very much when I listened to that. I was too elitist for that. It was just like, I don't know. Like, you have to be part of the club. You kind of have to be just a complete piece of shit about guitar playing. So
I think everybody goes through a phase like that when they first get into something, you know? I was kind of like that too.
So, all right. So who else do you think is awesome? Like, I think Jason Richardson is incredible.
Yep.
Who else do you think is incredible from the younger crew? Because Brendan's younger, Jason's younger. Are there any other? So those are two guys that I think are every bit as good as like the classic guys. They're some of the only guys I know of these days who are, you know, you could drop them into any era and they would be great.
Yes.
Who else do we know in that young crew who's that good?
Nick Johnston.
Who's that?
He's a solo guitarist. Like I don't know that he's been in any bands of note. Canadian guy. Man, let's see. So he's not really a shredder per se. He plays a Strat, classic single coil Strat sound through like a Fender combo usually, or like a Friedman. But he's
just kidding.
Just like I think he was kind of like an Yngwie acolyte for a little while type of deal, but he has expanded on that idea so far beyond those very narrow boundaries. Everything he is like a little bit jazzy, a little bit kind of like very chromatic.
I was about to say Yngwie with chromatics.
Yes, imagine that. Imagine that shit. And I
can't even listen to shred anymore.
It's not shred. It's not even really metal per se. Like it's kind of like hard rock mixed with some like acoustic stuff and some and like weird big band era swing sounds and kind of stuff like that. And then like shreddy guitar. Like when he shreds, he fucking out shreds everybody and their grandma, but he's, you know.
My grandma shreds pretty hard.
Yeah, you should see her sweep picking, man.
Yeah.
Let's see this punk. This fucking Nick Johnston, she could out shred me? I doubt it.
Dude, her down picking is sick too.
I'll tell you what pisses me off about shred. 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, I'd murder myself now for saying this, but like, I remember, because, you know, when you have a blog, you get solicited by a lot of press releases and stuff like that because everybody wants to push their stuff or have them come do an article or whatever. So I remember I would always get these press releases like from a manager. It'd be like, so-and-so super guitar player teams up with big vocalist from this band and makes this super group, and you're like, fuck yeah, this is going to be awesome. It's like George Bellis on guitar and, you know, this dude from this really awesome band and this epic drummer and Vitaly, I can't pronounce his last name, Kupri on keyboard, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just like all-star shred shrapnel guys. And then like you hear the first track and it just starts out with like the 1987 like Impellitteri riff, and then the high vocal comes in with the yeah, and you know, then there's like the guitar solo. Yeah. Oh shit. And I that was it. Like I was just lost there. I'm like, I've heard this fucking band 787 times already today just by going through my playlist.
Yeah, and you know, I don't even know if like shred guitar fans like that. I think that's just become like so standard that they just go, oh yeah, okay, that sounds right. It's the
expectation. You have to play neoclassical music if you want to be a shredder. At least it was 10 years ago when I used to care about that stuff.
Or you can be Guthrie Govan and go play for Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Or you could just play Yngwie covers, and
you know, they forget they a lot of them get so into the guitar that they forget about music. That sucks.
Very true. Very true.
Guthrie does not suffer from that problem.
No, and I mean, to anyone that's not aware, he does have the Hans Zimmer gig. That's why I said that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I'll tell you an interesting story about that, too, now that you mentioned that comment, Trey. When I played in a thrash metal band for many years, I then sold out, quote, and started a butt rock band. This is like 2008 or 9. And making the transition from being a shredder for like 8 years or whatever, and living, shitting, breathing, nothing but speed, crazy guitar, and then having to play like, rock music and write singles and things like that. I had to like relearn how to play guitar over in a year. Yeah. And it was actually like one of the most freeing and liberating experiences because I didn't lose any of my technique or chops. But what I did is I grew so much better musically as a guitar player and really learned how to just step outside of, scales and arpeggios and thinking of things very linearly. Like, okay, we're on a C chord, so I can do this, or this. It's more like I'm just going to hold this bend with this vibrato and push this destroying wah pedal. And I'm just going to keep doing it because I can, and it's awesome. And boobs, like.
I've always thought it was hilarious when a shred guy would suddenly go rock, and it would be like all the, if you were to like write down everything about rock that sells, like on a checklist, their albums would always contain that checklist.
Yep.
But it was so lame. Always. It's so bad. Or like when Dream Theater would do like the radio song, they would also go down the Nickelback checklist.
Yep.
You guys know the checklist I'm talking about. It's like so bad. So I don't know. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm sure you did it well, but sometimes those guys need to just stay in their lane. Like they worked for like 20 years to become awesome at guitar, and then 3 months to try to like write hit songs. It's like, you're not going to learn how to write hit songs in 3 months.
Well, here's the thing. Playing for the bar for 20 to 50 people that don't give a shit, except for like the 6 cross-armed dudes that are sitting there with their one girlfriend that they share, waiting for you to fuck up, and then, like peering through your soul while you're playing, and you're under the hot lights, you're sweating, maybe you like got 2 hours of sleep that night on, the cold-ass tour bus, and you're kind of pissed off for whatever reason because the drummer's being a dick, and you just missed that one note of that vibrato. And then they look and they nod and they look at their girlfriend. They're like, yep, I could have did that better. Like, you get to deal with that every night. And then, like, you put out a song and then it goes on the internet and then you get 1,877,612 hate comments and death threats on YouTube and one like, you know what I mean? Like, you get tired of that shit. So actually switching from rock, which I thought I would hate and would be totally lame, was a lot more fun to play because knowing how to play guitar and, not having to use my abilities other than just like, stuff that was totally on autopilot and it was just fun. It was so liberating to play because people would actually come out to the shows and we blew up really fast and just people really got into it. And it's so crazy. Like, you do some crazy lick and no one's impressed, but then you just whip out a little bit of pentatonic shit and people are like, dude, holy fuck, you shred. So they just appreciated it a lot more and there were no critics and it was just a lot more fun and a better atmosphere. They didn't give a shit if you screwed up. You just like throw your guitar off your shoulder and make it look like you meant to do it. And then they scream and cheer and you're like, yeah. So it was fun. That's what I'm saying. I had more fun playing rock, coming from being a pretentious shred dickhead than I did ever think I was going to. And it was just a great experience. So who would have figured?
Well, so I have a kind of an interesting perspective on that same idea. So like, because I've always sort of peppered my metal with other stuff, I tried very, very, very hard to make sure that the songs were good first and then that the solo was good. I mean, there was like a time, there was a moment like when I kind of made that switch because originally it was the other way around. I like only gave a shit about the solo and I realized that I was putting so much pressure on myself for the solo that I was caring less about the song and then the solo hit and I was just like, get it right. And like what I didn't realize is that your average listener doesn't actually give a shit about the solo. They only care about the song, and the solo is like almost a distraction to them if it's in the wrong spot,
Unless it's a solo like Hotel California or
right.
Sweet Child of Mine or where it's basically the song. But
yeah, it has to elevate the song. If you put it in the wrong spot, or if you or if it's not melodic enough, then it for the average listener it can be a distraction. But so this might be kind of a daring thing to admit since I run a metal website, and I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this. But so I write a lot of music. I love to write songs of all kinds, but like I also write pop music. Like I write
that's
pop
not
songs,
that bad. Dude, I just came out with a new Machine Head single the other day, and I listen to pop music all the fucking time, so sue me.
It's, and it's a completely different art form, but at the same time, I learned so much from writing these pop songs that is completely translates to my, to the metal music that I write.
Here's a question for you, Trey. Do you think that it's harder to write a number one single than it is to write the most progressive of songs? Because I do. Because back when I played technical music, it was just like you put together a bunch of stupid riffs because they were hard to play. And we'll just change time signatures and tempos here, and we'll interlock up there. Yeah. That's really technical. That's cool. Whereas like pop, you have to like write in a very specific thing. And writing a song that's timeless, that people are going to want to, it's a skill, and the highest paid guys write pop, and they're really brilliant songwriters, and I feel like a lot of those guys can write anything. So I don't know. What do you think?
100%. So I think that pop is harder to write and metal is harder to perform.
Absolutely.
And Max
really?
Martin.
Have you ever tried being a backup dancer for one of those pop artists?
No, I have not.
All right,
we're talking about guitar playing here, not dancing.
Okay, well then hold on. Any of you ever tried to get really good at funk guitar with the right hand work?
Yes,
that
absolutely.
shit is hard as fuck.
That's true.
Just different.
It's just different, but hard. It's not easy. Like I have a much easier time shredding than like doing the right hand stuff for funk. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm with you on that.
Well,
metal's easier to perform.
Maybe the stuff that I write is for pop is easier to play, but it's it's a whole different world. It's a whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. That's Aladdin. I
was wondering which one that was from. Like.
No one to tell us no or where to go.
At least you know now that I don't sit around watching kids' movies. So, as evidenced by the.
If you guys want to start an Aladdin core with Metal Zone pedals, let me know. I'm in. I'll be the genie.
And Alex obviously is Aladdin.
All right, let's keep moving.
So, I was going to say Aladdin. That. Fuck Aladdin. Max Martin, who is the most successful pop songwriter of the last 20 years probably, is a metalhead. He was in metal bands back in Sweden and all this, and he's worth $400 million. So I'm fucking coming for you, Max. I am coming for your throne wherever you are.
Sure
you and everyone else in LA.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm sure he hears your threats right now and is quivering.
You know what he would actually do, from the guys that I know that work with him, is he would actually, if you were any good, just acquire you and make you part of his team and then leverage you and make even more money.
Oh, wow. It's not a terrible idea. I should find him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I want to ask you a question about Gear Gods, because we haven't talked about Gear Gods at all. How did you get hooked up with them? And what were you doing before you were doing this?
That's a wonderful series of questions. So let's see. I was born in a small town called Arlington, Massachusetts. So basically, I was a guitar teacher for a very long time. I worked at a music store doing like retail stuff, and I sort of got into teaching sideways. I had friends ask me like, "Hey man, can you show me some of this stuff?" Basically, I taught for like food. I would be like, "Bring me a box of cookies and I will give you a guitar lesson." And so that was in college. And then I started getting more serious about it. I started working at a school and teaching private lessons, and I did that for seriously for 5 years. That was pretty much my whole life, and playing in bands and stuff. And then one day I was scrolling around the Metal Sucks Facebook page, or maybe it just dropped into my feed, and they were looking for someone to do this, basically a gear site. And they were looking for people to apply for the editor-in-chief position. So I kind of did the overachiever version of an application, which is that I actually filmed the very first rigged thing for a rigged episode before there was even a rigged. So this band, Cormorant, is friends of mine. They're kind of like a underground black metal band, kind of had some success on Metal Sucks and stuff like that. And they're great, super great. Good friends of mine, still trekking along, putting out awesome records. And they happened to be in the studio. So I just like borrowed a camera. I went in the studio, filmed all their gear and them talking about it and stuff. And I edited it. And I showed it to them, and I did a write up.
Did you do it?
I do it. And then I also wrote like an editorial about a really bad experience that I had with a custom guitar builder. And I submitted all of this, and they were like, "Wow, okay." And we did a phone interview and everything, and I didn't get the job. They picked Chris Alfano, who was at the time was far and away better for the job than I was anyways. So that actually worked out fine. But they liked me so much that they invented a position for me, because it was just going to be Chris doing everything. And they were like, "Okay, well, you seem to be really into this and you seem to know what you're talking about. So we're going to make you a like contributing writer position." So I was like, "Great, I'll take it." And for a year, I was pretty much just doing like a couple articles a month, just random crap, writing stuff up. And they initially did not even want to have a video component to the website, or at least they didn't really consider it when they were making the site to begin with. And I just kept pushing the idea of doing lots of video stuff, because I kind of think that YouTube is the future, I really love YouTube. I love the idea of almost being your own network, being like the little mini NBC of whatever it is that you do. And so I shot a bunch of video content and just kept pushing and being really annoying and, doing a lot more work than I was, getting paid to do. And because I loved it, it was an outlet, and suddenly people gave a shit what I thinked, and
that's the right word.
Gave a shat what I thunked, and so I just kept hammering away at it, and then so they eventually upgraded me to a senior editor, which was another position that they made up just to give me a better title, and then eventually what happened. It was, January of last year, just before NAMM, Chris got a new job, and I had at that point made myself essentially indispensable. Like, I was the obvious choice, because like they'd have to train somebody else to do all this stuff and use, how to use WordPress and crap. So I'm sure they were, I made the choice really easy for them. I'll put it that way. Just through sheer like having a cheery, shitty attitude, just
not being relentless.
Exactly. Yeah. So then they made me editor-in-chief, which I have now done for a year and a half, I guess, since, it's January of last year. So a year and a half. And it's been the single greatest thing I've ever done. It's the most fun I could possibly imagine doing for a job. I mean, it's funny because I think about the kind of stuff that I was doing when I wasn't working like 2 or 3 years ago. And a lot of it's kind of the same thing that I was trying to do, like just like making videos and playing a lot of guitar and, caring about gear at least a little bit. And now it's like
playing guitar, making videos,
all
and
the
caring
same
about
thing.
gear.
Yeah, all the same thing, but other people care about it too, and I get paid to do it, and it's fantastic. I kind of, it's a ridiculously charmed life. I'm not a rich man, but I am very, very happy most of the time.
Rich in joy and gear.
Yeah, so it's super fucking dope.
So what would you say to someone who wants to do something like what you do for a living? Because we've got a few people in our listeners who want to work online or do stuff like that. What would you say?
I'd tell them to fuck
stop.
off and
not.
No.
Well, I don't mean take your job.
I know. No, I would. I would tell them to invest in a good quality camera and a good lighting rig.
What camera are you using?
Okay, so I have 3 cameras now. So we shoot all of our like more formal content on the Canon. We have been shooting on the 70D, and we just upgraded to the 80D, which is perfect because it sounds like ADD, like attention deficit disorder. And we have that. So I actually bought, so Alex bought the 70D, and then he sold me the 70D when he upgraded to the 80D. And so I have that now. I've been shooting on that just a little bit. Most of the stuff I shot when starting out was a GoPro. You cannot fuck up with a GoPro. If the lighting is okay, it's going to look good. It can't look...
We use those on Nail the Mix.
Yeah. It can't look amazing. I mean, for what it is, it looks spectacular.
I mean, if you're jumping off of a cliff or something, maybe it'll look amazing.
There's a threshold of how good it can look, but the low threshold of how bad it can look is not... Like it's hard to make it look bad. It's really hard to fuck up. So I shot most of my early reviews and stuff on that. And I also use a Zoom Q8, which is awesome because it's kind of like a GoPro in that, you know, you can't like, it doesn't have like a variable lens on it. It's like just kind of a static kind of a deal. But it has XLR inputs. So you can record all your audio straight into the video while you're doing it, and I use that for all my theory videos. So yeah, if you can afford something like a nice decent Canon, I mean, you can get a Rebel that'll look almost as damn good for $400 or something, and you know, invest in a decent lens. But you can get cheap as fuck lights on Amazon. Cowboy Studio
like
lights.
$70.
Yeah, Cowboy Studio, you know, it's like it loads the same kind of bulbs as any other super high-end professional studio lights. You know, you can get the same bulbs and put it in. They're cheap and flimsy, but you know,
Dude, they work. They absolutely work.
We used it for everything for the longest time and just recently kind of upgraded, but so I mean, I think that video is the most important. So if you have good looking videos, you can have a whole career on YouTube, you know, if you have good content for whatever, like I think starting a YouTube channel, I would say start a YouTube channel now, whatever it is that you're doing, you know, because I wish it takes time for it to catch on. Our YouTube channel is like 3 years old now, and it's just now starting to get some serious traction, you know, like our video that has the most hits is around almost 400,000, which is pretty good. But, you know, it's taken years to accrue those kinds of hits and subscribers. We have 35,000 subscribers right now. And that's a lot, but, you know, it's a very slow burn. So, but if you want to work in the music, I don't know, what would you call this particular
I'd call
field?
It it is the music industry. It's just not like the record industry.
You guys are the press.
Yeah.
Of. Well, they are. Yeah, you guys are the new press. Like magazines are not really a thing. I mean, they exist, but like people get their press through you guys and through Metal Sucks and Metal Injection, which are all the same thing, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are the. Wow, the Jews do run the media.
I'm just their Irish pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly. So if you want to work in music media or press, then WordPress is the bomb.
Then get on Ben and Matt's good side.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. I'll be more specific.
No, serious answer now. I won't interrupt.
You have to, honest to God, not be a dick. Like, so I hesitate putting this out there because now I'm going to get a billion emails, but like, so I get a lot of emails from PR folk, you know, public relations, press people. So somebody hires them to get their stuff on our website and other websites, right? And other, you know, TV and all that. Okay. And the reason that I listen to them and I care about what they've got going on, aside from the fact that they get me access to bigger artists, is because they like ask me nicely. You know, they write me an email that's like personal. They say, "Hey Trey, do you think you could premiere this video for me this coming week?" The artist would really appreciate it, you know? And I get independent bands who do the same thing. And even though they might only have 500 likes on their Facebook page, and they shot a really great looking playthrough video, and they've got an album coming out, and they ask me nicely, and sometimes I premiere their video for them, and that's basically that's what we do. So if you want to get on the good side of somebody who has a website or somebody who you think who could hire you or whatever, don't think about being successful or getting ahead or getting a job or something. Just make friends, don't be fucking annoying or be a dick. Obviously I just told the whole story about how me being annoying got me this job, but I was persistent, not like, hey guys, what are you doing? Hey, let's be friends. Yay. It's, since I've had this job, I've made so many legitimate, honest to God friends in the industry. And, if they've got something going on, I want to be a part of it. And I want to premiere stuff for them. I want to collaborate on things, and they want to collaborate with me, not just because I'm the Gear Gods guy. Okay. Because there's lots of bigger outlets than Gear Gods. I mean, we're not Rolling Stone, but if Rolling Stone treat them like garbage, it doesn't matter. They're not going to want to be on Rolling Stone anyways. So I think it's really easy to make friends. And I don't want to say that I'm particularly necessarily good at it, but I don't, because my intentions are genuine. I think people realize that pretty quickly versus the sharks or the
NAM punishers.
Yes, the NAM punishers.
Bro, check out my demo. Bro.
Yeah, exactly. And they just hammer you with something rather than being like, hey, dude, I like what you do. Here's, oh, I'm in a band, maybe it'll come up, maybe it doesn't. Just make a friend. And
hey, dude, I like what you do. Here's a dick pic.
Yeah, exactly. And
you get a lot of those unsolicited.
No, thankfully. Don't give them ideas. Although, we so our demographic is an absolute sausage fest, though. It's literally 95% of the people who come to our site are dudes. So yeah. I'm sure it'll happen eventually. That'll be really bad.
What are we, 98.5 at URM?
Yeah,
I think we're 98.5.
Yeah, I think that sucks. I wish there were, I wish there were more girls that were into it. But they're there, and hello, all my female fans. I appreciate and love you. Thank you for
Trey is single, and if you're available, please email him.
See, that's why they don't. Exactly. Participate, is because dudes always say shit like that to them.
I just cock blocked. Sorry.
See that Joel just reinforced why the females never communicate in these groups or participate, because the moment they show themselves, someone thinks they're trying to get a date or something.
Yeah, that sucks. So anyway,
thank you, Joel.
I'll be here all week.
So they I guess my biggest piece of advice, number one, chill the fuck out. Or if you're too chill, you might be too passive, get involved.
So and this is not making fun of him, but how did Alex do it? Because on the surface, he can, he checks off some of those categories.
He's a punisher.
We love him, though.
He's a lovable punisher.
Yeah.
Dude, Alex is awesome.
He's awesome. But how did Alex manage to get away with it?
Well, because he's genuine. He's not so
bullshit. It's because he plays harpsichord in a power metal band. Let's be real.
He does. So he has a very particular set of skills. Aside from just being pretty knowledgeable about a lot of things that I have a high deficit of knowledge in, specifically regarding stuff like mixing, mastering. That's all stuff that as soon as Alex started mixing and mastering all of my stuff, I quit trying to mix. Okay. For a while, I was kind of into it, and he took that burden away from me, for which I am eternally grateful. And, and he knows more about keyboard sound design than anyone I've ever met. And he also offered me a place to live. So I live, we're roommates. I moved. So I lived in Northern California for 11 plus years. And when I was thinking of moving to Southern California, he was like, hey, come rent a room from me. And so
you're making it sound even creepier.
Yes, I did. Well, so I mean, we were already friends. It wasn't like just some rando on the internet. So somebody who actually was in my band for a while moved down to Southern California. He started a band with Alex. They came up and played some shows with us. That's how I met Alex. And Alex is, Mr. fucking sociable. So
dude, he knows everybody.
He networks hardcore, So he's like, you could say that he's the annoying guy that I told you not to be, but because he's not really annoying. He's persistent.
He's not annoying at all.
And he loves networking. And he loves to introduce people to each other, regardless of how awkward it might be, and he just powers through the awkwardness. So it works out really good for him in a lot of ways. And he's undaunted. So I don't know. So then he fulfilled a need that I had, which sounds very sexual, but it was that, he can do a lot of the stuff that I can't. So I would say the part 2 or 3 of my advice to people who want to do something like this is to obviously develop a useful skill or have a product that's worth having, I think it was a kind of recent revelation of mine about how marketing and strategies and packaging and presentation is vastly more important than the actual product in a lot of ways. But when they get through all of that packaging and marketing, the thing sucks, then it was all for naught. So you have to have something better, different, more useful or whatever than the next guy, or even just something that's really, really good. Like in the case of music, there's 800,000 death metal bands in the world. Some of them are obviously better than others, but there's only one necrophagist, and they're not coming out with any new music anytime soon. So if you do something kind of like that, you can also just be the other necrophagist or whatever. You can fulfill a need, a niche. And if you do it really well, and then you also have really great marketing for whatever, I'm just using music like performance as an example. Like if you want to be the other necrophagist, you can have a lot of success, So it doesn't have to be 100% completely original. You have to have a product. And when I say product, I mean a skill or some kind of a shtick. Or I don't know No,
I completely agree. I just saw an interview with Mark Cuban on Creative Live who said that he hires people who are good at what he's bad at. And I feel like that's basically what it boils down to.
Exactly.
Is do what other people can't and won't do, or fulfill what they don't have that they do want. And I feel like that's kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah, fulfill a need that somebody has and great. Actually, here's this brings up an important point that we've been talking about around the office. And actually, we are looking for another writer to do some, a couple articles a week or something. And so if that's something you're interested in, you can email me at info@geargods.net. But so I guess that looking for entry-level positions like that, and then presenting those skills or product of which I spake earlier in a friendly, persistent, but not obnoxious way, then you can get in on the ground floor kind of like I did for something like that. I don't know, recently Metal Sucks was looking for an intern, okay? Getting an internship, something like that, and then fucking hammering away at it for a year, 2 years, and then using those kind of genuine social skills. Okay, like some people don't have them and will never have them, but I think as long as what you're keeping in mind is that you actually give a shit about other people and their feelings and their how they perceive you, as long as you care about that stuff and you care about the other people and you care about having a mutually beneficial arrangement of some kind, it's kind of hard to fuck up, really.
Yeah, you gotta definitely try. But hey Trey, we're out of time.
Holy shit! I didn't know there was a time limit. 90 minutes.
Well, Joel has a hard cutoff, but we need to have you on here again because obviously we could have kept talking for like another 90 minutes.
Yeah. I wish you'd have told me. I would have gotten to my points faster.
Well, we don't normally hit the time limit. So we didn't think we would.
Yeah.
Because we try to keep them to like an hour, but
we blew right past that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we definitely need to do a part 2 here.
I am 100% down.
Hell yes. Trey, it was a real pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Can't wait to hang out again, hopefully NAMM next year. And
totally.
Glad you guys are doing well, and I'm going to go watch some videos now.
GearGods.net.
Yeah, GearGods.net is the hub for everything. It's got all the stuff laid out so that you can find it all very easily. Facebook.com/GearGods if you like Facebook. YouTube.com/GearGods. Please be sure to subscribe. We put out new stuff like 3 or 4 times a week sometimes. And thank you guys so much for having me on. This is so much fun. I would love to do it again. Anytime.
We'll do it.
Absolutely.
The Unstoppable Recording Machine Podcast is brought to you by the 2017 URM Summit, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to spend 4 days with the next generation of audio professionals and special guests, including Andrew Wade, Kane Churko, Billy Decker, Fluff, Brian Hood, and many more. The inspiration, ideas, and friendship you'll get here are the things that you'll look back on as inflection points in your life. Learn more at urmsummit.com. The URM podcast is also brought to you by Heirloom Microphones. Heirloom Microphones are high-end condenser microphones with something that has never been seen in the microphone industry, a triangular membrane. With our patented membranes and our tailored phase linear electronics, your recording and live experience will never be the same. Heirloom, our microphones will help you discover clarity. Go to ehrlund.se for more info. To get in touch with the URM podcast, visit urm.com/podcast and subscribe today.